All right, guys. I got a special guest today. This is KMKanDrum, and I am doing my Q&A with KMKanDrum. Today, I've got Hungry Drummer Joey on the line with you guys.
What's up,
I want
peeps?
I want you guys to check out all the previous interviews, just in case you haven't. At the end of this video, I'm gonna post a playlist where you can watch all of my interviews from before. Um, I've got some great ones on there. I'm not going to single any of them out because they're all awesome. You should check all of them out. And also check my website, www.kmkandrum.com. I got a lot of things that you can't put on YouTube on there, like you can see my musical past, for instance, or you can have links to all the musical albums and things that I've been a part of. You can go out and check it out there. So yeah, the website, the old videos, check them all out. But right now, I'm going to start asking some questions to Hungry Drummer Joey, who his channel is amazing. So if you guys haven't seen it, please check
Thank
it
you.
out. It's very entertaining. I love the washing machine that you got back there,
Hey.
and the like 5 different stick holders you got
Yeah.
spread out.
Yeah. You gotta start selling some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But aside from all the props, you're playing and how studious you are, and on top of all of that, how fun you make the drums look when you're playing is, to me, so refreshing, and it's attractive. I'm sorry, I'm going to go there and I'm going to say it,
No,
but
no problem. No problem.
it really makes me come back and want to watch more videos just because of that huge smile that you put on your face and it doesn't look like a fake
Yeah.
smile. It looks like a real genuine smile.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So you ready for some questions?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay, so this first section, if you guys don't already know, is my drum-related questions section. So basically, um, questions about the trade that we're both in. The second section, we'll get into a different type of set of questions, as well as a third section. We'll get there when we get there, but right now we're just going to do some drum-related questions. So the first one I like to keep the same. Um, Drumming is this crazy skill that we have to acquire. Some of us have it when we're born, but some of us need to work on it. And it takes a lot of time and effort. A lot of love needs to be in this relationship. So I want to know, how long have you been in this relationship with the drums?
Well, I started back when hmm. I started back in 2011, I believe. This was when I was in sixth grade, I think, and I just started watching my school's my elementary school's band, and um, and I was really interested in the percussion. So I talked to the band director there, and yeah, he hooked me up that year, and he started giving me lessons. Just on like it was just on basic stuff like snare drum and concert bass drum and stuff like that. So yeah, I learned the basics through elementary school. I didn't actually have a drum set yet though. Um, hmm. So that was that, and then in high school, I'd say actually in eighth grade. Sorry, in eighth grade, that's when I joined the marching band of my town's high school, and they taught me more like rudiments and stuff. So like a lot of like double strokes, paradiddles, and stuff. And the music we played was really fun. So we got to do a lot of fast drumming. When I was in marching band, I got to play all three drums. I got to play bass drum first when I started, and then I moved up to the five tenor drums. And then my junior and senior year, I played snare drum. But yeah, those are really fun. I'd say my favorite was the tenors though, just because of they're basically like a portable drum set, you know, like you
Yeah.
go like that. But but yeah, like it was a lot of fun, and it really helped me out a lot with my rudiments. I got my first drum set when I was in eighth grade. So while I was doing marching band, I was just like practicing at home, like jamming on my drum set. Um, uh, and yeah, and then I didn't actually start performing drum set until uh let's see. I think it was sophomore year in high school. That was when we had our first concert, and it was I believe it was actually a Beatles coffee house, and we did
Oh,
a lot. Yeah, and yeah, we basically just formed different groups and stuff. There were only two drummers in my class. It was me and this other guy, so we were always in high demand. But yeah, that
yeah.
was actually my first time playing drum set out in public. Every other time I played percussion was either like in an orchestra, or it was in marching band. But yeah, that was really fun. High school was really fun. Um, we had two music teachers. One of them was like more classical oriented, so like he taught us about all the great composers and stuff. We had him freshman and junior year, and then our other music teacher was uh he was like the go-to guy for like sound engineering and stuff, and he was like more more like pop oriented. So we had him sophomore and senior year, and they were both great. Um, the second teacher though that I mentioned, he introduced me to a lot more drummers like John Bonham, Michael Jackson's drummer, Sugarfoot.
Yeah.
Who else? He's into a lot of Motown too. So like he showed me a lot of James Brown stuff, like all the classic funk records. Um, hmm. Obviously Ringo. Yeah, Ringo I've known since forever. um, hmm. And then he showed me a few jazz drummers too. I think the first jazz drummer I got introduced to was Art Blakey.
Mm.
Um, but it wasn't until college that I got introduced to way more. Like I already knew Buddy Rich. Like I always like saw his videos of his band and his solos and stuff like that, and he was great. Um, However, I'd say uh, hmm, this was back in freshman year in high school, when my new drum teacher, Tim Horner, he's a great jazz drummer. He showed me Elvin Jones
Oh
and
yeah.
all these other guys. And man, I'd say Elvin, when I saw his playing, like I just wanted to emulate it. Like he was like I'd say he's my favorite influence in jazz drumming, just because of how unique it is, like compared to the other guys. Like all the other guys are great, but this guy, he sounded different. Like he sounded more like laid back in the pocket. It had more of like a triplet feel, like more of like a rolling, like tumbling triplet feel. But like say for instance, like you'd have like the driving feel of like Art Blakey, where it's like and then you have this guy where like some like it's very subtle. It's like a very subtle difference, but it's mind blowing. Like when you watch him play, and also the way he hits the drums too. It's like a rock drummer. Like
Mm. Yeah.
a lot of, I'd say actually a lot of rock guys were influenced by him. Uh, John Bonham got a bit of influence from him. Mitch Mitchell also he got he
Hmm.
got a lot of influence from him. Um, uh, who else? I think that's really all I know. But yeah, those guys are freaking badass. Anyone who doesn't know those guys, I seriously recommend you check them out. Um, uh, I'd say, and in college, my drum teacher, he he had me do for assignments. He had me do these drum solo transcriptions. So like for each, I would pick a drummer, and then I would study what they're playing on a certain jazz record. Like I'd say my first drum solo that I had to transcribe was hmm, that was I think that was Jordu by Max Roach. And it was like more of the basic, rudimental jazz stuff, but it was great because like they while they're playing, like it taught me that like while they're playing, they each of them had like a certain melody in their head, like while they're playing,
Mm.
like they were they were all thinking about the form of the song, like you know how like some jazz songs are like A or like A B or like 12 bar blues or something like that. There's like a different form for each song, and like they're counting all that in their head. Like say for instance they're playing like a chorus, like they're counting like all the bars in their head as they're soloing, and it's just great. They're also keeping in mind like the the chord progressions and the chord changes like while they're soloing. So like sometimes you would hear them play certain hits on like certain chord accents, like, and then you would hear them repeat that like in their solo, and it's just like mind blowing like when you think about it. um but yeah, that's really what I've been doing so far in college. Alongside that, like, oh man, I love so many like rock drummers, like Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins. He's always been like a huge influence. Like the way that he drives the hi hat with his left foot, like while he's playing, like it just goes constant like that. And I've always thought that was badass. He also has a certain like, hmm, yeah, like the way he plays also has like a really aggressive attitude to it, which is I think is really cool. I've always loved John Bonham, Ringo. Like I've said before, yeah, he's always been an influence. Um, hmm, who else? Oh, Darren King from Mute Math. He,
Oh, huh.
yeah, he's actually like Mute Math was probably the first band that I was introduced to, and once I heard his drumming, like it was insane. I was mind blown. Like and we actually saw them live once back in 2016 before the band broke up. But yeah, like the way that he makes his kit, like he has such a small kit, but he makes it sound huge. Like yeah, I'd say he has, yeah, he only has one crash ride cymbal, one Zildjian crash ride, and one hi-hat, and then he has like the basic, you know, four-piece kit, but he makes it sound like a monster kit, and it's just great. Like the way that he does the hi-hat too, like sometimes he does like he does a lot of like 16th note grooves, like a lot of that, like when you're expecting like a certain eighth note beat, like a regular rock beat, like he'll change it into like a 16th note shuffle or something like that. um but yeah, I've always loved his playing. It's very dynamic, very explosive. um Also, who else? Oh, Jeff Porcaro, man. Oh, one of my favorites. um I've always loved how like he came up with so many of the beats for Toto. Also with Michael Jackson, I actually didn't know that he used to play for Michael Jackson for like a few of his songs, like what was it? I think it was Beat It. But yeah, he did the beat for that, and also Steely Dan and so much more. I think he was actually the most recorded drummer in pop music, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, he's another influence. Bernard Purdy, oh man,
Yeah.
great influence. Um,
Great attitude too.
oh yeah, he could just play like the simplest. He could play the simplest groove, and like it'll make you want to dance. Like like
Have you
that's
seen
just
his
great.
videos when he's playing? He'll be like, ah.
Yeah. That's like, man, that's like my favorite part about it. Like he loves what he does, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's fantastic. Like he's, you know, like he's one of the legends, like cuz he makes people dance like while he's playing, and he doesn't need to like any he doesn't need any flashy moves, you know? He just needs a good groove, and he lays it down like perfectly. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I've always thought that was he's always been one of my favorites. Who else? Mm, I think that's it, really.
I mean, those
Yeah.
are some pretty heavy names, man. Like when you're talking about transcribing solos, I don't think I've had a guest yet where they're talking about transcribing solos. I mean, that sounds like a total nightmare.
Yeah. Oh man, trust me. Like, yeah, when I started, I was like, what the heck do I do? You know? But yeah, like I was completely lost. Like, especially uh he had us he also had us like write out the solo. So like first we would listen to it, like, and then just hear it out in our head, and then we would play it along, and then he would have us write it out. Like writing music, like I suck at that. But but as I started, like he had me do it more and more, like, and yeah, and it was cool because it was a different experience. It introduced me to like also more sight reading because like also in the world of gigging, like like it it's probably an essential, especially like if you're being hired by a lot of cover bands, and
Well,
just like
even
as a band
like
in general.
being from Jersey City, being really close to New York, you've got a lot of the Broadway drummers over there, and you got to be able to sight read for sure to get a gig like that.
Yes, yes, but yeah, like yeah, a lot of those gigs, yeah, they require sight reading, and yeah, just the way that my drum teacher taught me is great. Like he's a great teacher. Like Tim Horner, if you guys don't know him, like check him out. I think he has a couple videos like of his
Oh,
performances on
cool.
YouTube, but he's toured internationally, and he's probably one of the most well sought out drummers in New York. Um and yeah, like his playing, he's a beast. Like he could play all types of jazz. He's actually played some rock gigs too. Um, but yeah, he's mostly a jazz guy. But he won't mind playing like other genres. If people ask him to play them. Um, but yeah, yeah, he's great. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot to mention this. One other influence that I have. Tommy Igoe. Oh,
Oh
fantastic.
yeah, I've been seeing you posting a lot
Yes,
about him.
yes, yes. That guy is a beast. Like he can literally play anything. Like, but yeah, like I've just been checking out like new big band, his big band records. Um, like his band is called the Groove Conspiracy, and they released the album just this past 2017, and it's like a nice fusion, like a jazz fusion of a big band swing and funk also. So like one of his pieces, like you'd have them go into like really up tempo swing, and then like in a certain part of the song, like they just switch to like a nice like 16 note groove, and it's perfect. But yeah, just yeah, just like the way that he communicates with other musicians in his playing, like it's genius. And his lessons also like on YouTube, like he teaches on Drumeo sometimes, and that's how I found out about him. But yeah, like he really knows his stuff. I'd say whatchamacallit? Um, I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, he really knows his stuff, and he's played on like so many records. Um, his big band has like weekly gigs, I think. So
Wow.
yeah, he always plays like I'd say he plays like every day, but yeah, and just like his energy and his enthusiasm, like it's contagious. Like I always love watching him play. Um, some of his soloing too. I'm trying to get a bit of that down because like the way it's like you just need to watch it. It's so freaking good. And his shuffle beats, yeah, it's crazy. He has a big like Art Blakey influence too, which he was like one of the founders of the shuffle. But yeah, it's freaking fantastic the way he plays. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I can't think of any more. If I do remember some, I'll let you know. But yeah, that's all I
Cool.
can remember for now.
Yeah, I mean that was like probably the longest first question answer that I've had by far. But it's freaking great, man. I
Awesome,
love it.
awesome, awesome.
Okay, so I want to get to more of the, I guess, gear type questions, the technical gear questions. Uh, First one is, do you use wood or nylon tip sticks?
Hmm. I hmm. I I've always been more of a wood guy. There has been a point like in my playing where I did try out nylon tips. For about a year. I do actually like the feel of nylon tips. They're good at cymbals. They have a good rebound. But I've always just been more of a wood guy. I've always liked the feel of them. They always felt like more like one complete stick.
Yeah.
As compared to like the nylon, because sometimes like when I would play with nylon tips, uh, sometimes like the tips would fall off, like when I would strike them so hard. Um, but like with the wood, it's like it erodes everything of the wood like erodes over time as you're playing. So like you kind of get that natural feel with the wood stick. I've always liked it better than the nylon, but I do like both. You know, they each have their pros and cons.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's funny that you say that because uh, like the whole. I think you explained it in a way where everyone else tries to explain it, where it's just one piece and you get that consistent feel with a wood stick that you don't necessarily always get with a nylon. And that may be like splitting hairs because who actually really feels the separation between the wood and the nylon? Probably not many people, and it's probably mostly mental, but there is like this sense of connectivity. Like when I was first learning how to play drums, my uncle told me uh, the stick is just an extension of your arm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like when you hit the drums, it's like that stick is not supposed to be. I wish I had a drumstick, but it's not supposed to be out like this, or going crazy. It's supposed to be like just an extent, like as if your bone just kept going on
Yeah.
your wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just goes with that mentality of just being one long piece, and it just helps. Any advantage that you can get with the drums, I think. So for me, at least, I'm a wood guy, wood tip guy, and I always love to just have that visual aspect of it, where it's just an extension of my arm, and having the wood tip helps because yeah, when the tip chips or breaks, it's time for a new stick. Like more that part more than anything. Like if the shaft part from the hi-hats gets all frayed, or the part from the rim shots gets frayed, I could still use the stick. It's when the tip starts chipping is when I throw the stick away.
Yeah. Like it becomes like the end of the tips like kind of becomes like one with the stick. Like that's when like it becomes like a like a cone almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened to me like several times. So like I'm like no. But yeah. Yeah. It's just cool though cuz like that you're playing the heck out of them, you know? Like
Yeah.
that's good. That's a good sign. Like when the sticks are splintering. Like you don't want them to like to stay perfect like
Yeah.
like all the time.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know. I'm trying to picture your videos, and it just really shows me how much I'm not paying attention, because I can't remember whether or not you play a double or a single pedal.
Oh, I just play single pedal.
Single
Yeah.
pedal.
Yes.
None
Yes.
of that double bass bullshit.
What's up?
None of that double bass bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I had a double bass pedal honestly though cuz like I actually have unfortunately I don't have one at my house but my friend has one in his studio. And usually when I go over there, sometimes I would like play along with it, and it's like it just has a great feel, like if you for like some great like rhythms on the bass drum. Yeah, like I've always played with single pedal, but I would not mind getting a double bass pedal, just for like if I want to like play along with like metal tunes or anything like that. I always think it's helpful, but on an electronic kit, I don't know if that would really hmm. I don't know if a double pedal would fit on the bass pad
Oh.
of the
Hmm.
electronic kit. So I would have to see if that would work. But yeah, I've always been a single pedal guy. Um I just felt that also strengthening the right foot to like get out all the rhythms on the bass drum. Like I've always felt like that would help out in the long run. But
Interesting.
yeah, I've always liked both. Um I do plan on getting a double pedal soon. I just have to see if that would work with my electronic kit. Um but I could play it on my acoustic kit though. But yeah. Mm.
Cool. Okay. How about the metronome? Do you use the metronome, or do you rely more on your internal clock?
I use the metronome when I'm practicing, like just like yeah, just like when I'm practicing rudiments, and then I go practice with yeah, like all the beats and syncopation and stuff like that. Like um, independence. Like I try to get out that get out that feel, that consistent timing. Although during performances, I don't like using a metronome, just cause like it's almost like cheating, basically. Like you're relying on that clock, and plus like uh when like during a live performance, I think like the push, like the subtle like push and pull of the time, like during like while a drummer's playing, like it's what makes it human, like it kind of adds to the the authentic nature of the whole performance. Um, and I think that's what really like makes it special, like the live playing, like without a click. Um, Although like there are those guys like those like all those gospel drummers who like have like perfect timing, like metronomic timing, like throughout the entire thing, like without a metronome, and I just feel like baffled throughout the entire thing. But yeah, like that's definitely a plus. But yeah, I've really only used the metronome for practice.
Cool. um, all important question. Do you play or have you ever played Guitar Hero or Rock Band?
Oh man, I actually have not. I wish I did though, but one time I think from GameStop, I got a Guitar Hero for the DS, but I never got around to playing it because it also required like an extra adapter thing or something. So yeah, I never got around to it. But my friend, sometimes I would go over to my friend's house and we would play Rock Band at his house. Um, uh, yeah, he would actually have like the mini drum set there and everything, so that would be cool. Um, but yeah, I've never really played it alongside alongside my friend's house.
Yeah, I've actually only played Guitar Hero with the guitar once. It was nothing like the guitar, and it was actually a lot harder than the guitar, at least for me. So I kind of just stayed away. But there was this one time, um, I was in a band, but way back in the early 2000s, and we all took a trip to Las Vegas, and we stayed at the MGM Grand, and they had this video game in on the floor with all the other video games, and it was a drumming video game. So like you got in there, kind of like you would with like any of the car video games, like Outrun or Pole Position or whatever, and it had pads and it had sticks, and you play like it had a jukebox full of songs that didn't have any drums on it. Like they took the drum tracks out, and you would play along, and with every with every fill that you did, and every time you hit the one after the fill, you would get like more points. And so we got there, and I started playing drums, and it was funny because by the time I was done playing the game, I got out of the thing. There was like a crowd of people that stood there to watch. So it was actually really weird. But that was like a really cool game, and I really wish I remember what it was called because I would love to be able to try to find it and play it. It was actually a lot better than the versions of like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. That they could replicate that more. It was more accurate than like a Guitar Hero and Rock Band was.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um,
Yeah, let me know. Let me know honestly because yeah, I'm trying to look for a solid music video game.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they're very few and far between, man. And that's like one of my side things is I do like production for video games. So
Hey,
now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably get on on that on the
nice,
ball
man.
on that one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. So you gave me an idea. Thanks, dude. I'll give you
Yeah,
some
yeah.
production points on it.
Hey, awesome, awesome.
Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna do two more drum questions. Um, First one, do you prefer to be on stage or in the studio?
Um, hmm. I would prefer I would prefer to be on stage. I think that's yeah, that's always been my favorite to like just perform in front of people and, to give a good time. Studio, I still love being in the studio, obviously, but um, like when you really like look at it in the long run, like uh, music what I want to do is like provide people with a good live experience, and honestly, that's what makes life better, in the long run. Just like having people gather together and all at a live show and just like dance along to the music, and that's what it's all about. Um, of course, the studio, is still good for jamming and uh, and recording and stuff like that. But yeah, I would definitely prefer live playing.
Cool. Yeah. To me, that's a really hard one. You're still pretty young, so you've got your whole life ahead of you, drumming wise. But for me, uh, when I was your age, how old are you, by the way? 22, 25?
20.
20.
Yes.
So, okay. So yeah, when I was 20, I was like, that was my heyday. We were playing all the time, growing up in LA, playing on the Sunset Strip and doing that whole thing.
Nice.
And like every band back then was big. It didn't matter where you were from. Like it was just like it's not as common back then as it is today. Like today, it's almost like, oh, you're in a band. Oh, cool. So's everybody else. But back
Yeah.
then, um, it was actually really exclusive to be in a band. So for every, I don't know, 1,000 people in LA, there was a band. So you and all your friends and whatnot, you'd have like a base of 1,000 people where they didn't know anybody else in any other bands. So you had that following, and you could be like, you can play at the Whiskey or the Roxy and draw a couple hundred people every show and feel like you were somebody or you're important. So it was easy for us to answer that question and be like, well, of course I'd rather be live and on stage. But then, you know, fast forward 20 years of playing shows, and you're still uh, setting up and tearing down your own gear. You're
Yeah. Yeah.
scuffing up your car.
I feel that. Yeah.
So now to me it's like, yeah, I don't, I'm not quite there with the stage anymore. I would much rather just have my drum set up there the way I like it.
Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah.
I can go down in my PJs or in my underwear if I wanted to
Yeah.
play drum.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
man, I hope you have a full life of playing live. I mean, there really is no feeling like being on stage. It's
thank you, man.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great. But yeah, man, like yeah, the studio is great too. Like yeah, I've always loved the studio. But yeah, I definitely see what you mean when like, especially about the tearing down and stuff. Like it gets it's a real pain. Um but
You got to go the mute math way, man. Two cymbals, four
yeah.
drums, and
Yep. Like that street busker way, Yeah. But uh or also roadies, like if you get roadies, then then they would really then they would like kind of ease the pain a lot. But
yeah.
uh
Good luck with that.
yeah, yeah, it probably take a while. Yeah.
But if you get there, oh my god, that would be amazing. Just remember that we know each other.
Hey. Awesome. I'll hook you up.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Backstage passes, man.
Hopefully if I get there.
That'd be awesome. Okay, so last question, which kind of plays into what we're talking about now. Uh, if you could live any one drummer's life, or have like look back and have the portfolio of any one drummer, who would it be?
Hmm. Oh man, that's a good question. Um, hmm, I'd say all of them. Can I say all?
You,
um,
you know, I know it's all of them. Okay, I know, but I want an actual answer.
all right. Um, oh man, this is tough.
So
Hmm.
like the example, just
Oh,
to give you context, the example that I was kind of shooting for is like, Tommy Lee. He might not be the best drummer, or he might not be the guy that's on top of everyone's head, like when you talk about drums, but that
yeah,
dude's life, right? I mean, he
yeah,
was dating, or he was married to Pamela Anderson. You
Yeah.
know, he's like he gets to do whatever the hell he wants,
Yeah.
and by doing the
Get
bare
what he
minimum, right?
needs. But
So yeah, he's kind of my example to kind of like answer this question. He's not my example. I definitely wouldn't want his life, but just to kind of like, you know, who would you, you know, if you were ahead of, if you were older and you look back on your life, what person would you closely like to be next to?
hmm, I'd say I'd say, oh, okay, I have one. Stuart Copeland from the Police. Like, oh man, he's always been a huge favorite. And I also have one more. It's Bill Gibson of Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, okay.
yeah, particularly reason being, like, yeah, he's another one of my favorite drummers. Particularly reason being is that um they also have a horn line playing in the back, so like they kind of get that big band setting, that nice, like, really powerful, just like, you know, make like party setting uh on the stage, but also in a rock and roll band, you know, so it's like you get that nice combination um of music. And just like the way that Bill gets to, you know, drive the backbeat, just like, you know, give a good simple backbeat, but also play along with what the horns are doing. Like, it's freaking like, he once said in an interview that it makes you feel really powerful, and it's like one of the best feelings, you know, just like
Hmm.
being in a band. Um, but yeah, like playing with Tower of Power, it's like, yeah, that's, he said that's one of probably the best things, one of his favorite things while playing. Um, so he's one of them, and Stuart Copeland, particularly reason being, is like, I love his playing style. He, you know, he's playing with a one of the greatest, like, you know, three-piece rock bands, you know, you know from the what is it, late 70s, early 80s, and like, you know, they're one of the pioneers of, like, you know, classic rock and roll, and they've combined like so many different genres and stuff, and just like playing for millions of people, you know, and his energy, his vibe, you know, his, also his kit, like, I love his drum set. Like, it's like a, it's huge, but it's not like too huge. Like, he also has like the little octobans on the side, which like which like made his sound like really innovative.
Yeah.
um Especially since like he got a lot of uh influences, he got a lot of rhythmic influences from Africa and the Middle East, especially. And yeah, just uh yeah, just his life is he's living it. He's really living it. um but yeah, those are my two that I would pick.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, great answers. I love the answer to the guy from the Huey Lewis in the News. I think that's I've never thought of it, and he's one of those guys that unless you go searching for, nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's this video floating around. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's English Indian comedian is talking about like his dream life would be the drummer of Coldplay because he's so like anonymous. Nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't, have you seen his bit on that? I don't even remember what the comedian's name is, but it's freaking hilarious, man.
Oh
Um,
man, like, I think I know what you're talking about, but it's slipping my mind.
yeah, I don't remember his name, but
You said he's Indian, right?
Indian English, yeah, an
Oh,
Indian from England. I think he's from England.
oh man, yeah, he's slipping me.
But yeah,
I feel like I
if
know
you
what you're
can
talking
check
about
it
though.
out, like
Yeah.
the whole thing is he's a drummer in probably one of the most famous bands, and nobody knows who he is, right? So that in itself is pretty funny. But
Yeah.
then he goes even further, and he's like, uh, I don't even know what his name is. I still don't know what his name is, but he's like a huge Game of Thrones fan,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
went and he's like, can I be in Game of Thrones? Like, give me any part, I'll be in Game of Thrones. So he's actually in the most famous part of the most famous show. He's the most he's the drummer for one of the most famous bands, and in that part, he's the drummer, and people still don't know who he is.
Wow.
You look it up. The drummer of Coldplay is the drummer in the scene of the Red Wedding.
Wow.
So that's
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna look that up right now. Let me see. Let me see. I want to find out this guy's name because now that got me thinking.
It's
Cold.
crazy to me. I watched it and I was laughing because it was funny, but I was tripping out. Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, I feel that. Oh wait, I found it. Will Champion. Like his last name is literally Champion.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy
he
to me.
should have made though for the name, honestly. Yeah, like his name could get him. His name could get him for. But yeah, like yeah, I could definitely agree that he's living it. Like, hey, being a drummer for like one of the biggest bands and also being in one of the biggest TV shows. I mean, like that's a 2 for 2 win right there.
Yeah, and it's it's almost kind of like if you were him, like what does a guy have to do to get noticed?
I feel that. I feel that. Hey, now
Yeah,
get memes.
yeah,
That's like one of the that's like one of the ways.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, that was awesome, man. I love all your obviously if you're studying drums and music in college and high school, you're gonna have a wealth of knowledge. So, but yeah, I wanna get more into other sections of your life, namely this section of job related questions. So, I like to play the employer interviewing you for a job that I have. What job is it? I don't know. Whatever. Actually, I just did this question with another interview, and so I started it with the very first question. The answer to that question will be how you answered the rest of these questions. So it might sound weird to you, but once I ask the question, you'll be like, oh, okay. So
All right.
my first question as an employer to a prospective employee is, what is your dream job?
My dream job is yeah, performing drumming for drumming for different types of music, performing for different people. And yeah, that's really my dream job. Also acting. Acting has always been like
Ah,
acting has always been like my another passion of mine. But yeah, like performing in those two aspects, those have always been like my dream.
cool, man. All right. Well, I'm a producer and director for this next huge film that's coming out. So you're on the spot.
Hey.
Okay, so I want to know, Mr. Hungry Actor Joey, what are your strengths?
Oh man. What are my strengths? I'd say I'd say my strength is that I love working with people. I love interacting with people. Um, I think that being a part of your film, Mr. Spielberg, would be a hell of an experience. And yeah, I've always enjoyed interacting and working with people, and I think that would really help out in this job.
It actually would because I've got a huge cast and a huge staff, and everybody on the staff is super cool. So I only want super cool people.
Awesome, awesome.
Well, what about
Am I cool enough, or is my Celsius temperature okay?
we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, all right,
No, right now it's good. It's good.
awesome,
You're trending up.
awesome.
But here's a really telling question that might influence me in ways that you don't think. So I want to know what you think are your weaknesses.
My weaknesses. Um, well, what? Okay. Hmm. I think that hmm, maybe maybe sometimes I could be a little too trusting of people with some people.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. But what else? Uh, I think yeah, that's mainly like the biggest flaw, is just to really really getting to know the person. And uh sometimes I think I have a reputation of being too nice sometimes. So like I just gotta, I gotta work on, you know, just just what should we call it? Yeah, just keeping that assertive nature, but at the same time, not being a jerk. But yeah, yeah, I think that's something, that's one of the weaknesses that I can work on. Um,
Isn't it a crappy world where you have to be less nice?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I feel you, man. There's been times where me being just me, which is a nice guy, have totally backfired on me. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
yeah,
And it really is like as sad as it is, it really is a weakness that you have to at least be aware of. You have to be cognizant of it because um, ideally we would love to walk down the street and be able to say hi to everybody and they say hi back and smile and whatnot. But sometimes, there's people that are walking down the same street as you and they want to take your wallet or, like, and it's just, God, man, it's so depressing that you have to kind of hold a guard up because really we should all just like smile and say hi to each other.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel that. I feel that. Um, but yeah, yeah. That's
And
although like, yeah, like, people like you and other people, as long as really, you know uh there's people who are, you know willing to work with you and have a good time and stuff, and be civil and everything, that it would make for a great it'd make for a better world,
yeah,
um
well, because like right now I'm hiring for this huge film, right? But
yeah.
I've got a TV show in the works, and
Ooh,
with a
okay.
TV show
Yeah.
you've got multiple seasons, and you've got writers like chomping at the bit that want to become producers. So all of these people are like fighting for these prestigious positions, and they're gonna, I'm trying to hire people that aren't gonna step on other people's toes. Everyone's kind of rather working as a team to find mutual success, if that's the thing that even exists. So, I'm trying to make an environment where everyone works together, but we'll see. At the same time, you still gotta keep your guard.
Yes, yes, I totally feel that. Oh, and another weakness is uh getting up late. Like
Ah,
oh, my sleeping habit, huge weakness, huge weakness. Like, it seems like I've been waking up like, I don't know, like like ele- past the 11 o'clock margin, which which is like, comparing it to my old sleeping schedule, it's like it's like freaking late. But yeah, even sometimes at noon, like, I would just like, oh my god, like, I feel like a slug, like, rolling off the bed. But yeah, yeah, that's another weakness. But I'm also kind of proud of it. But also, it's like I'm a little proud of it, but a little uh it's like I'm a little proud of it, but at the same time, like, it's like, like, you gotta fix it.
hey man, if you've been able to get by waking up at 12, like more power to some people. Like I'm sure like you actually have your job, you work like different hours, right? You're not
Yeah,
always on the same schedule.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Not usually all the same schedule. Yeah, like every week they'd put us, sometimes for day shifts or night shifts, and yeah, it would be pretty manageable. I mean, waking up for that, it really, like, when it comes to a job, also, it kind of it becomes that extra motivation for you to, like, wake up wake up early. So, like, it makes it easier in the long run, because, like, money,
Yeah.
but But yeah, yeah, um, it's it's pretty laid back schedule, you know, but it's manageable.
That's good. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do you handle pressure?
Um, hmm. Well, it depends. Hmm. In some scenarios, like with like music and stuff, like with my passion and stuff, like I can handle pressure okay, but if it's like say like for example like at my job, like it's like a really high pressure environment, like it's a restaurant, so like I work at a restaurant, and and there's always people coming in, so like you always got to be on guard as to like oh like where to seat people, like which server to seat them at, because like then sometimes you can't like double seat a server because then like that'll mess up the entire schedule. So like all those things you gotta like we gotta be like on top of, and it is kind of nerve wracking. Like it is really nerve wracking, like especially right now since I just started, but they said like you know like they said like it would get easier like as time goes on, but uh yeah so far it's been okay, but yeah, there's been those instances where like you know you just want to like pull your hair out, you know. But
So in those instances, do you hold it in? Do you talk it out? Do you like how do you get through it?
um I like talking it out. I think that that really relieves the pressure more, because you know if you hold it in, it's like you're bottling everything inside the entire day, and that's not it's not really healthy, you know.
Yeah.
Especially like for like your job performance, so, you know, like you'd want to let someone know, like you want to let it out, you know, just to you know, and then to find someone who knows like where you're coming from, you know, it kind of helps with the performance, you know, in in the long run. But yeah, I would definitely prefer talking it out. I think instead of keeping it in. Although it depends on who you're talking, depends on which type of person you're talking to. You know,
Oh
like
yeah.
which we also gotta keep an eye on that, because yeah.
Yeah, you'll know that. I mean, whether you stay in the restaurant business or any business for that matter, the higher up you go, the more you have to really watch what you say and watch what you do. Right now, entry level, lower level positions, you can say and do whatever the hell you want pretty much. But once you get into managerial positions, it's like, and I always reference it to, have you ever seen Saving Private Ryan?
I saw. I actually saw the first chunk of the movie. I didn't see the rest though, but I have seen the beginning, and it was amazing.
Yeah. So Tom Hanks, his he played. I forgot what ranking he is, but he's like a commanding officer. And one of his subordinates asks him like, "Oh, what's wrong with your job, or what's wrong with the?" And his answer was, "He never gripes down. He only gripes up." So what he means is he's never going to tell his subordinates what's wrong. You know, he's always going to say everything's great, everything's status quo, everything. I'm going to do the best I can, like just hyping up, being super positive to the people below him. He only gripes up to the people that are above him. So his manager, that's when he says, "Oh yeah, this is messed up. There's something wrong over here." Never gripes down. So the way I take it is like my wife, for instance, she's got a super high position in fashion, and working with a bunch of fashion designers and people that are creative and very artistic in the mind. They don't necessarily take direction really well, and they don't necessarily have an organized way of doing things. They're kind of like all over the place. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of problems that occur with that, especially for someone who's trying to manage these people. But rather than, like if my wife has is controlling the people under sweaters, she's also controlling the people under denim, and someone in the sweater department doesn't like the way someone in the denim department runs things, and she's talking to the sweater person, my wife can't be like, "Oh, that person in denim, yeah, I hate her too." So she can't do that. She's got to be like, no, everything is fine. We're taking care of it. Blah blah blah. They're very like PC and by the book. But
Yeah.
then she'll go to her manager and say like, oh my god, I'm having so many problems with this and this and that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the more uh, higher up you get, the more pressure and the more pressure on you to keep things organized and professional and in a working order. And
Yeah.
it's like I deal with very small teams, and I try to keep my teams like uh, specialized. So, for instance, for the video games, like I have one or two people doing the art, one or two people doing the music, one or two people doing the animation and the programming. So I don't have these huge teams that I have to micromanage. I kind of just tell them what needs to be done. They go and they do it, and that's that. But when you get into, corporations and whatnot where the teams are huge, that's when it gets like really crazy and having a HR department helps and people being able to go there and air out their problems. So yeah, man, pressure is real in the workforce and it really, if you can handle pressure, most people can't handle it. That's why there's so many people that quit or stay at the level that they're at, and I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing wrong with that. If you can make a living off of doing exactly what you want to do and nothing more, then that's amazing. More power to you. But
Yeah.
there's those people that are overachievers that want to, keep going up the ranks, and those
Yeah.
are the types of people that need to really be able to handle pressure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty much like the question. I wanted to know how well you handle pressure, and if you have like aspirations of going into the higher ranks of wherever it is you end up being.
Okay. You're just talking about like you're talking about strictly in my job I'm working at, or just like in general?
In general, like even for this TV series that I'm hiring for, right? Like, you've got your writers down at the bottom, and if you write some really good episodes, you'll be able to maybe in the next season I'll promote you to like a associate producer where you have a little bit
a
more say.
a
um, so so with that, you have a lot of pressure. Now instead of just writing, you're overseeing other writers, you're overseeing a lot of the decisions that are making. That's a lot of pressure. So I'm
hmm
wondering if you can handle that kind of pressure.
Yeah, if since it's in like the entertainment field, and it's one of my passions. Yeah, I think I would be down for, you know, considering a position as an executive producer in your team. I would be honored to be part of your team, Mr. Spielberg.
Or how about this scenario? So I'm looking for a drummer, second chair for this Broadway play, and second chair. You only need to be available when the first chair is out on vacation or whatnot. So no pressure, no real pressure. You just need to you need to know the music. You need to know how to sight read. Uh, the chops I'm sure you have if you're interviewing for this job. So all of that's taken care of. But there could be a case where our first chair leaves and I have two or three second chair players. I need to know who can handle the pressure the most to get that first chair. Is that
Yeah.
you?
Yes, I would hope so. That would be pretty awesome to be the new drummer for a Broadway play. Just gotta, yeah, just like you said, gotta keep up the sight reading and all the chops and just like, have all the music memorized and uh, what matters is if you know the music so well that you could just have a good time while playing it, and that's really what it's all about. So yeah, I would definitely be excited to do that.
Yeah, that's a great answer actually because I was talking to somebody else about reading, and cerebral playing. So a lot of there's I think there's a lot of different schools of thought when it comes to drums. Like a lot, so there's people that like to think out their parts and do a lot of composing. And then on the other side of there's a lot of people that just like to feel the song out. And then there's everybody in between. What what I was talking to someone else about is uh, I like to be cerebral, but I also like to enjoy what I'm playing. So if I'm always having to think about, oh, I got this next fill, I gotta make sure I do it right. My hand position is in the right spot, and you get too like into it, like thought wise, mentally,
Yeah.
you lose the feel.
Yeah.
So when you tell me that you want to learn the songs well enough so that you have fun, that's a huge thing
Yeah.
because the last thing, like I know you'll be in the pit. Not many people will be able to see you, but the people that do see you, I want them to see, because I've seen your videos. You, above anything else, love to have fun and you love to smile. So for the people that get to see you in the pit, I want them to see you smile. I don't want them to see you like looking at the
Yeah.
chart and
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
cool, man.
But
Okay. Yeah, you're definitely still trending up, so that's
yeah,
good.
awesome, man. Do I have the gig yet?
Yeah, like that's a question that, it's funny. That's a question that they always tell you to ask. Job coaches, like career coaches and whatnot. They always tell you at the end of the interview to ask if you get the job. My wife,
Yeah.
who is super successful, she's had a few jobs where people have gone to her and have recruited her to work for their company, but she never ever at the end of interviews she never asks them, "Do I have the job?" And I think just because like I've seen her, just her career has just been like crazy. She's a complete overachiever. She's super successful, and I think
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
her her angle is she never asks that question because she already knows that she's put a huge great first impression on them, and that no matter what the end result is, they're going to think about her for that position. So she never says, "Do I have the job?" It's almost like in her mind it's almost like insecure to ask that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's weird. I always like, for someone like me, I always say, yeah, you should ask if you get the job. But then she's at a completely other level where she's almost like, I don't need to ask that because
Yeah.
I know they're
Yeah.
going to be
Like,
thinking about me.
yeah, like she already knows, right? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy the level of thought that you can always raise your level of thought higher than you can even imagine. Like I could never imagine not asking that question, whereas for her it just comes natural not to ask it because she's
Yeah.
just so like confident.
Yeah.
It's a trip to watch, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool though. Like it's good to hear that, your wife is like, at that level where at that successful level where, she already knows that she already knows her connection with the other people working with her, and like she knows, like, what type of job she got and all that. But yeah, it's great. It's great to hear.
Yeah, yeah, and that all comes with experience too, like not just in your specific field. Like you're a drummer, I'm a drummer. We Even though we might not be making money, it's still something that we do that we're like ingrained in the culture of drums.
Yeah.
So not just with drums, but with life in general. Uh, Having experience and always having like, I don't want to call it bravado because it's not bravado. It's self confidence. To not ever question yourself. Like there's a level of mentality that you can get to where you know that no matter what gets thrown at your way, you'll find a way to overcome and succeed. And that's what she has. And I feel like if more people had that, they would be less inclined, they would be less focused on exterior things. Like there's so many people that want to help homeless people, right? But they haven't stopped to help themselves first. Like I think when you help yourself first, you put yourself in a better situation to help other people and be successful at helping other people.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I think comes with experience, but not necessarily experience in the specific field that you're in, right? So you can have life experience and just start playing the drums and use that life experience on the drums itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hmm.
Like you don't necessarily need to be playing 20 years in order to have the confidence of a player that's been playing 20 years. But you
Yeah.
have the confidence of life experiences for 20 years that you can draw upon whenever the time comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. I think I have one more question,
Okay.
and I'll let you know whether or not you're hired. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Um, hmm. I see myself. Hmm. I see myself 5 years older. At um, I see myself I see myself 5 years older working at a studio and performing and hopefully acting on the side too, time permitting. Um, but yeah, that's where I intend to see myself. I really I really want to get to that point, especially since I'm graduating in 2 years. So I think at that point, I'd already be done with all the college stuff and everything. So yeah, that's where I would definitely hope to be.
So now, do you plan on relocating anywhere? Are you kind of set in Jersey City?
Yeah, I think I'm set around. I think I'm set in over here in the Jersey City area and the Bayonne area. Um, Particularly because it's so close to NY. It's just a train stop away, and there's so many opportunities around here. Just for performing and networking and meeting new people and yeah, I really like it here and yeah, it's just I feel like down here at the Jersey, at the East Coast, everything's within range, at a reasonable distance. So, you'd have like the city right next to you, for your job, and also if you want to get home from that city life, like when you're done working and you're tired of the hustle and bustle, like you go back to Bayonne or like the suburban life, the nice suburban life, like next to the city. And then when you want to go down on vacation, like there's a shore right nearby. So yeah, I don't really plan on relocating. I think definitely think that over here is uh the place for me.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny uh, when I really pay attention and I really really listen for it, I can hear the Jersey accent.
The joy is the accent, right? Like give me a
Yeah.
boy.
It's yours is really subtle, but you have a small accent. I can hear
Awesome. Thank you, man. So oh, how is it like? How is the Pennsylvania accent like? Because I'm still trying to figure out like how that is like.
You
Do
know,
you do you have a bit of it?
I don't have it at all.
No.
I was born and raised in LA. I lived there until geez 2013, and then I
Okay.
moved to New York for 3 years, and then I moved to Philly.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
I've
So
only
you're a
been here for
Californian
three
then, huh?
years.
You're
California boy.
Californian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Give
So
me
yeah,
some.
man. You know, I I'm kind of torn between like now that I have a little girl, I really miss home, and we've been trying to figure out a way of how to get back. But also, to your point, everything is really close. We're 5 hours from Boston. We're an hour and a half away from New York. Couple hour and a half from DC. Um, like you said, the Jersey Shore is awesome, and yeah, everything's really close and convenient. I just I don't know, man. Half of me wants to stay here, half of me wants to go back home. It's a really hard decision, and
No, I feel you. I feel you.
I would imagine it would be like a hard decision too for you if you got a maybe it wouldn't be hard, but you got a job offer, uh, in LA as an actor. Obviously, you would probably jump at the opportunity,
Yeah.
but I could also see you being bittersweet about leaving this area.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely would. Even it like it depend. Even it would depend on like it would depend on how much the job is offering. If they uh if they give me a job offer from LA, because I'm really attached to this area, like the East Coast. Like I'm all about the East Coast. But if the job is like super high paying, then of course, yeah, I'll go down. But I don't think really like I don't think anything is gonna bring me away from this place, because it's just like everything's like in range. Everything's convenient. Um, but yeah, yeah. Obviously,
No,
if it
dude,
wasn't another job offer in California that was paying high, I would probably take it. But yeah,
that's probably the smartest thing because I can tell you, dude, from experience, man. I know so many people just growing up and living in LA. So many people that have moved to LA to pursue their dreams. A lot of them didn't even have a job opportunity. They just went out to look for the job opportunity.
yeah,
Some of them did have jobs, but super high paying jobs that you're talking about. And I'll tell you, man, most of them are they've either moved back to wherever they came from, they're either super poor and struggling and like hate their life, or they're literally like going insane
yeah,
because that life out there is so like intense.
yeah,
And you know, first off, you're trying to act. So you're basically living different characters, right? You're kind of playing with your mind in the first place. Then you add in all the pressure of trying to find jobs and you're going on auditions all the time, all the time, all the time, being somebody that you're not because that's how you're going to get paid. It really plays on people's minds, and I've seen it. I've like literally seen it, like being on the music end. A lot of people try to do the both, the music and the acting. So I've had a lot of friends that have tried to be actors, and they go on auditions all the time. And the worst part is they'll get a commercial here, they'll get a spot there, and it's like uh it's like the most torturous thing because you always feel like you're right there, you're gonna get your break, but it never
yeah,
comes. All
yeah,
that comes are
yeah,
these little like nuggets and tidbits, and
yeah,
that drives people crazy. It literally drives people crazy.
yeah,
So you have the perfect mentality. Don't leave the place that you love because the grass is almost never greener. Unless you have a life changing opportunity. Your mentality is perfect, I think,
yeah.
because I've
Thank you,
seen so
man.
many
Yeah,
people like their lives have gone for the worst trying to go out
yeah,
there and make that. It's hard.
yeah. It's really hard. Yeah, but yeah, that was really wise what you just said about like wherever you are, um if you just find the right connections, because like everything nowadays is about like networking and stuff, and um meeting people, and that's how like most people get their jobs. And if you could find the right connections in the place that you love, you could easily be happy there, just as if like you were happy like in LA or any other town that offers you a good job. That is if like the town you're living in offers as much opportunities and stuff. But yeah, I totally agree.
Cool, man. Well, you seem like you got a good head on your shoulders. I think I'm gonna give you a chance, man.
Awesome. When do we start? When do we start, Mr. Spielberg?
We've already started, man.
Hey, all right. All right. I'll be over in 1 minute.
Awesome. Yeah,
Actually, I'm already here.
Yeah, you're a stone's throw away, man.
Yeah.
We actually need to actually meet up. I think
Yeah,
the time has come.
I agree.
We got close. What, maybe like a month or two
It was
ago.
it was like a month ago. Yeah, I was like, it was funny because I think you guys had to leave early, right? I was
Yeah.
on the way to I was on the way to Jersey City. I'm actually from Bayonne, so
Okay.
I live like around close to Jersey City, but yeah, I remember I was like on my way, and then I got the text, and I'm like, ah, damn. But yeah, dude, let me know. Definitely, I'm totally down to meet and meet your family and all that jazz.
Cool, man. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
definitely make it happen because yeah, us being so close, I think it's less than 100 miles. So, and I'm my wife and I, my wife has one of her best friends lives in Jersey City. That's why we like go up there as much as we can. So, yeah, next time I'm up there, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, definitely, man. Let me
Cool.
know.
Well, let's get to this last section of questions because I think these are the most fun. This is where you can kind of there's no pressure for the job questions.
All
There's no
right.
pressure to show off your knowledge to your drumming peers. This is all just you, man. This is what I call speed dating questions. So actually, there's
Hey.
actually pressure because are you dating anybody? Are you married? Are you single?
I'm single. Yes, at the
Okay,
moment.
so you're single. So
Yes.
these are actually pressure-filled questions because we need to make you look good, dude.
All right. All right. Lay them on me.
Okay. First question. Are you a meat eater or a vegetarian?
I am a vegetarian.
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. We used to eat meat. My family and I used to eat meat. But yeah, after it was mostly my parents because they were watching a lot. They became more aware of like animals and stuff and the way they're used, and they wanted me to stop with them. So yeah, we all stopped together. We all stopped eating meat. This was like back in 2012. And then and yeah, we've just been vegetarians ever since. It still it still gets a little tempting to eat meat, but we can counter that, however, because we do eat a lot of there's these things called meatless products where like it's like the fake chicken made with like the
yeah.
soy. So like we always get those. And we also eat seafood too. So technically I'm not a real vegetarian. It's like a pescatarian kind of like.
Pescatarian, yeah.
So like yeah, we still eat seafood and because like a lot of our Asian culture, was raised on that, and a lot of the food, it's still we still love our salmon and sushi and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think we could get away from seafood, but
Fish
if
aren't
we
real
do, I mean,
animals
it would
anyway.
be hard. What's that?
Fish aren't real animals anyway.
Oh man. Oh man, savage Kelly. Don't tell them that to their face.
Yeah. I will, and they probably won't understand because they're not real animals anyway.
Unless if you're Aquaman, then
That's true. Oh, that's interesting, dude, because I know where you work, and yet you're a vegetarian. That's crazy.
Yeah. It gets I just have to ignore the meat, and just focus on the moolah. Yep.
That's one of my favorite. My wife and I, it's one of our favorite restaurants, and we try to go at least, I want to say, once, sometimes even twice a month, just to spoil ourselves. And yeah, dude, I just there's no way that I could go there and not eat meat, let alone work there and not eat meat.
I feel you. I feel you, man. Yeah, it gets really, really tempting. Yeah, especially for yeah, like a vegetarian. But uh, yeah, if you guys ever come by, I'll hook you up with an employee discount.
Oh, oh, that's so
And so,
awesome.
and also, if any of you guys from the YouTube community want to come down, it's Longhorn Steakhouse in Bayonne, New Jersey. I'll hook you
Awesome,
guys up.
dude.
If you guys get like a little party going,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool, man.
come on down. Come on down.
That actually plays into your part for this section because uh, as we know, it's a speed dating question. It's to for the ladies out there. Um, Here's a guy who sacrificed his meat eating for his family. So he's a family guy.
Oh my God.
He's yeah, dude. He cares about his family. That I mean, right there. That's you can't ask for more in a guy than someone who cares about his family. He's gonna sacrifice for his family. I mean, come on. He's a guy who all guys love to eat meat, and he gave it up for his family. That's more than I can do, man.
Thank you, man.
Okay, so let's get into more interesting questions. So I want to know: do you prefer to take a hot bath or a shower?
I prefer shower, just because like I haven't taken a bath in like centuries. I don't remember the last time when I took a bath was, but yeah, I've always taken a shower. It's in and out. Just boom like that, and you're already clean. So yeah, I've always been a shower guy. But yeah,
Awesome, awesome,
yeah.
awesome. I've yet to get a guy answer that he likes to take a bath over a shower. So I'm still waiting for that person to say that they like baths. I just really I want to know why, because I'm also a shower guy, and all the guys that I've asked are shower guys.
Yeah.
So it's just weird to me because it seems like it's a gender a sex type thing. Most
Yeah.
women like baths. Most guys like showers.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the one guy that says he likes to take a bath. I want to know
that
why.
that would be funny. I'm waiting for that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. Do you like dogs or cats?
I like dogs. Yeah.
Dogs.
Although actually we're planning on getting a cat soon. So whatchamacallit, yeah, I mean I do like both, but dogs have definitely been my favorite.
Cool. um. What's your favorite food?
Pizza. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh,
I
man.
love pizza.
I love pizza too. When you get to my age, it's something that you really gotta to spread out. You can't have pizza every day
Oh
anymore.
yeah, man. I totally feel that. Yeah. Yeah. It's so tempting too, because like especially like when I when we go home from work, it's like the pizzeria is like so close to our house. So like sometimes we just get it's so tempted to just get a slice, and just go to town.
Have
And
you ever how often do you go into the city?
um hmm I go I, I go usually maybe like twice a month sometimes, if I time permitting. Sometimes even more than that. But yeah, I usually, cause like also I'm part of this like acting agency. It's called Central Casting, where um
Oh yeah.
they give gigs and stuff. But yeah, it's mostly in the city, and I usually go there whenever whenever they hit me up with a gig. Um, but yeah, I haven't gone in recently. No, but
Do you,
yeah,
do you have
whenever I can.
a favorite pizza spot?
Yes, actually, it's this one in Bayonne. But yeah, they give like really good pizza. Anything in the New York area, in the in the Jersey area, the North Jersey area is fantastic. But yeah, this we always go here, and they make some really good pizza, and it's really cheap too. It's really cheap, especially like if you compare it to like other pizza from the Washington State, like Seattle, especially like that pizza's mad expensive, and it's nowhere near as good as like New York pizza or New
Huh.
Jersey pizza.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
Have you ever made it down to Defara, like in the heart of Brooklyn, like in the middle of Brooklyn?
Defar Brooklyn, no. I have not. But we have gone down, I think, to the main street of Brooklyn. I think it was. We've been there a couple times. Um, but yeah, that um yeah, I've never really been to that area that you mentioned.
Yeah, it's first. I still remember the first time I bit into a Defara pizza. It was like nothing I'd ever had before. I mean, first of all, the owner, he's not there anymore. But when I think the first time I went there was like he was at the tail end of his career, and he's this old dude that was like hunched over. And when the pizzas came out of the oven, he would like get this old can of olive oil and just like do this like on the pizza, and he'd get this huge bushel of basil and cut it up and then serve you a slice.
Nice.
And it was like the best thing ever. It was instantly my favorite pizza.
Good
And
old school Italian. You want the real deal. You want the real
yeah,
deal.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah. That's always the best.
yeah, it's so I'm I don't even know if it's still around. It has to be still around, but if you get a chance and let's say you're on your way to Coney Island, I think it's I can't remember the stop, but it's on the Q train down to Coney Island. Um, yeah, stop off and get a Defara slice, man.
Definitely,
It's
man.
life changing.
Awesome. I will definitely look into that.
Have you ever had artichoke pizza?
Yes, yes, and that is mad good. I love artichokes on pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just like, especially when you cook them down real good, real well. Sorry, I
Hey,
got to correct
college boy,
myself.
come on, man.
Yeah. Oh man, slacking. I'm slacking. But yeah, when you cook them down real well, I love when they get like all soft, like not too soft, but just like they get all the juices out. Like all the juices are flavored and stuff, and they just and they just add a whole like new depth to the pizza. Yeah, they've actually that's actually been one of my favorite toppings alongside sardines also.
Oh,
Sardines,
interesting.
yeah. Um, we sometimes have sardines on pizza. Actually, no, not sardines. I think it's anchovies. We had anchovies
Anchovies, yeah.
once.
Okay.
Anchovies once. What am I saying? But yeah. There's actually we. I think our favorite pie to eat though is this it's this eggplant pesto pie.
Ooh.
But it's really good like the way they cook it. Like they I think they roast the pesto a little bit before they put it on the pizza, and then they add the roasted eggplant on it too. But the good thing about that is like their eggplant that they use, it it isn't like the soggy eggplant. Like they roast it down just enough where it's like at a good texture. Uh it's almost like if you're eating like potatoes or something, like like it gets down to that texture, and it's really good, and the way the flavors blend together, it's perfect.
Man.
Yeah, come
Uh,
down and
yeah,
I'll
dude.
show you what it's all about.
Yeah, we might have to
Yeah,
take two trips, one to
yeah.
Longhorns and one to the pizza place.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Cool, man. Okay. You're an actor, so what's your favorite movie?
That is tough. My favorite movie has to be probably I'd have to say the Lord of the Rings trilogy, like the entire trilogy as a whole. I just, it's flawless. Like the acting, the story, the action, the pacing, the characters, it's perfect. It's like, Ian McKellen, man, friggin' flawless as Gandalf. You got Christopher Lee, peace. You got Elijah Wood. You got a freaking who's that? Kate, the lady who plays Galadriel. Oh man, she killed it. And Yeah. A lot of man, it's just that series is flawless. I don't have any. I've never had any complaints when I watched that series.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
my wife would definitely agree with you. Her go-to movies are either Harry Potter or
hey,
Lord of the Rings.
nice,
Me, I'm
nice.
not into it. I don't get it.
Yeah,
It's not my thing.
you're you're not a fantasy guy. Are you a
No,
fantasy guy?
yeah,
No.
I'm not into the fantasy, and my partner in the video game business hates me for it.
Yeah.
He's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Anything fantasy, Final Fantasy, you name it. Anything that's fantasy, he's into it. And I just I'm not into it, and it bugs the shit out of him. I'm more of like a sci-fi guy, I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. What's your favorite?
Um, well, obviously, if you want to go like to classics, you have to go to The Matrix.
Yes.
Um, but I think a movie that I really like that I thought was done really well that I didn't think was gonna do really well. Not as far as box office, but just the way that they made the movie was. Have you ever seen Edge of Tomorrow?
Um, no, no, I have not.
So it's with Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise, and he basically when he dies, he wakes up in the same spot every time.
Oh, is that the one where they were in like the robot suits or something? And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. It kind of reminds me of the movie Groundhog Day, with Bill Murray.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Similar premise, but in a more serious setting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I love the execution of the movie. I thought I bring that up because maybe because I didn't have high expectations for it, and it kind of just like really impressed me.
Yeah.
Uh, but as far as like real, what I think are good sci-fi movies that make me think, obviously it's The Matrix. Uh, Another one is Prometheus. Like I like the Alien movies,
Yeah.
but Prometheus to me is like beyond that. It transcends the sci-fi alien thing because then you're talking about the origin of man and whether or not we were a species designed by aliens. You know, that's
Yeah.
a whole topic. And yeah, dude, it kind of goes beyond just your average sci-fi movie, and I think it was done really well and it was written really well. Um, and then Ridley Scott did that shit follow-up movie that was like totally sucked. I
Oh
forgot.
yeah. I think what was the name of that? Do you remember? It
I
was
don't know. It was the newest Alien
yeah.
one. It was such a letdown. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens. Like
Yeah.
you make this great movie, and then the second one is just. So, I don't even remember what it was. I just remember watching it. My wife and I watching it because we're huge Prometheus fans, and we're just both like looking at each other and so disappointed. And it was like I couldn't get over the disappointment to get back into the movie to even like
Yeah.
retain any of it, what
Yeah.
it was all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Prometheus. Uh, I also like Ex Machina. You ever seen Ex Machina?
Ex Machina. No, but I've heard of it.
Oh man, that is probably one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Got you. I gotta check
The,
that out. Actually,
yeah,
I have some movies that I'm planning to watch, but I'm gonna add that to my list.
yeah,
Um,
dude, put it right there at the top, man.
yeah,
It's really impressive. I love the way it was made. It's got an indie feel to it, but also it's just produced really well. The cinematography is amazing, and the storyline's like awesome. And plus, I think it's Alicia Vikander. I think that's how you say her name, and she's like super like gorgeous in that movie. So
nice,
it hits all the buttons,
nice.
man.
Hey, can't go wrong with some Alicia, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, are you into
those are mine.
you into Star Wars?
So I was into Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think they
up
jumped the shark.
until up until the new movies, right?
So I like some of the new movies. And you know, I really don't have a problem with people trying to capitalize on a franchise. You know, I
Yeah,
think if you can get away with it, do it. But don't sacrifice the creative integrity, which I think they've done a lot with these movies. Uh,
yeah,
so And I think
especially
it
seven
actually
and eight.
started. It started with George Lucas redoing the original three and putting those new CG graphics in there.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a real like letdown for me.
It was a bad move because it removed the charm, you know, like it removed the charm of the original versions. Um, there like there were a few perks to it, like the better CGI and the lasers and stuff and the lightsabers, but other than that, like yeah, like the stuff like the animal walking across the the screen, like while the scene's happening, it's like it was unnecessary. Um, but but yeah, that's definitely something that he shouldn't have done, especially the Greedo scene, the Han and Greedo scene in the
Mm,
cantina. Like
yeah,
the it basically changed like the whole continuity. Now it's like Greedo shot first, and it's basically like Han's head like moved to the side, like they edited out Han's head, and then they moved it to like to dodge the blazer. It was so bad. Whereas like in the original, it's just oh Han gets cornered, boom, he shoots him. He's badass. He
yeah,
doesn't need they don't need to explain anything about his character. Because like they already showed that he will not hesitate to to do that in a situation that proves itself dangerous. But
yeah.
but yeah, like when when George added that, it ruined it. But unpopular opinion though, I am a huge prequels fan. Like I love the Star Wars prequels. Like I grew up on them. So yeah, despite some of the acting flaws, like I've always loved like the creativity going into like the worlds and stuff, like the different planets and the action. I've always loved that. They've always had that same Star Wars charm to them too, just like with the originals. And I feel like with the original and the prequel trilogy, there's stuff that both outdo each other in. Like, there's stuff that the prequels do better than the originals, like, like the action, the fight scenes. And then the originals, like, they do better in the overall story, the character development, stuff like that. So, yeah, they're both really good trilogies. The new trilogy on the other hand, I could never get into. Except for Rogue One on the other hand. Rogue One was amazing. Like I love that movie. Um, but but yeah, that's basically what my thoughts on the Star Wars.
What is the one where it was the first of the third set of movies? What was the first one where I don't know? I can't even remember the main girl's name, but she was like,
You're talking about the sequels, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. You're talking about that one?
so yeah, the Force Awakens. That's the one where um she's like she first comes onto the scene, right? What's her name? God, I can't remember.
Daisy Ridley. That's you're talking about the actress's name or the character?
The character.
Ray.
Ray. Okay,
Yeah.
so Ray, her character, I actually like a lot because, to me, it it signified a change in what a woman lead can be. She doesn't have to be sexy. She doesn't have to have this sex appeal. She's pretty, but more it's more her actual character. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the guys roles that are out there, most of the guys, yes, they're good looking, but that's not, there's depth to their characters. I feel
Yeah.
like there's some depth to her character where she doesn't have to plan her looks to get what she wants. In fact, she doesn't ever get what she wants. She has to fight for what she wants.
Yeah.
So I feel like those movies, whether they play into the whole Star Wars thing or not, I admire because they're a step in the right direction as far as like women actors. And now especially having a daughter, I don't want guys looking at my daughter like that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like I watch movies now with a different perspective where I'm not trying to objectify the woman as much anymore. And obviously I'm a huge like if you like for the first one, the Phantom Menace, I think it's called, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's Queen Amidala and then there's Padme. I'm a Padme guy, so like
Hey.
I don't like all the fluff. I don't like all the just give me a nice home style girl, and that's all I need. Like so,
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's not about like, you know, the glitz and the glamour and all of that stuff. I just want down to earth as much as possible, and I think that Ray character is really one of those people that are down to earth, salt of the earth kind of person that just like perseveres and
Yeah.
gets what she wants by fighting for it and working for it rather than using her looks and all that
Yeah, yeah,
superficiality.
yeah. She does feel grounded in that aspect. I feel like, and Daisy Ridley, her actress, man, she's gorgeous. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. Yeah, I definitely say like Ray has that nice balance of being pretty, but not like like glamorous bombshell, like hot, basically. But yeah, she's like right there in the middle. But I think they did well in that aspect. Also, her interactions with Kylo Ren, I think that's something that they did well. Even though I'm not crazy about the movies, like her chemistry with what's the guy's name? I forget. Oh, Adam Driver, I think it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
Adam Driver.
yeah, yeah. Like their chemistry in those scenes, like they did them pretty well. So that is something that I do respect about the new movies. Everything else though, yeah, I can't. But yeah, yeah, man. Ray's a cool character. Um, I think a lot of people have argued though that she's like overpowered, like in some scenes. Did you hear about that? Like
Yeah.
like um like back when I think when the movie came out, a lot of people argued that she's like a Mary Sue like character, where it's like she's good at the Force, she's good at flying a ship. Um, what do you think about that?
Um. Hmm. I'm not even quite sure what their angle is. Like it she's good at flying a ship. I mean, yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah,
Like when she takes the Millennium Falcon, right? And she's
yeah.
going through and trying to escape. Um, yeah, I'm not quite sure what the issue is there. I don't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I didn't know either, but yeah, it was. A lot of people have been like mentioning that, so I just wanted to like hear.
I think when you have franchises that are so big like that, you have the people that are really into it, and then there's also people that I guess nitpick at every little thing that they
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
And the thing that I learned about writing, especially fiction stories, is they're fiction. So you apply that to real life, right? If you live a life of lies, right, where you're always fabricating stories about yourself or your surroundings or whatnot, you always have to know in advance where that's going to lead you. So you start off with a lie, you have to keep that lie going with other lies, right?
yeah,
And it's the same thing with fiction. You start with a fictional world, and you've got to keep that fictional world going to keep the continuity. And when you have, I'm sure, with something like Star Wars, thousands and thousands of pages of information on how to like. One thing that we learned how to do is write a story Bible, right? So if you're starting to make a TV series, you have to write a story Bible so that when new writers come, you give them that story Bible, and it's literally a Bible of the whole world that you've created. So take for instance the Big Bang, right? You've got everything you need to know about Sheldon and all of those characters. Penny, what Penny's favorite food is, what's her favorite holiday, whether she grew up in a two parent house. It's all in this story Bible, right? And it's all fake. It's all a bunch of quote unquote lies that once you put it out there, once you put that universe out there on TV, you've got to now create this universe and make sure all the ends tie up. As opposed to when you live in reality and you go by truth, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about making up lies. You just live the way that you are because that's the truth. So it's almost impossible as a writer to create a universe that's totally and completely um, like has a continuity and is like error free. There's no like loopholes or anything like that. You're always going to have something, and those people are always going to be able to find that something because I have I have a bachelor's degree in creative writing, right? So
Okay. Nice.
I know how to write scripts. I've written scripts before. I've written video game worlds where I've created worlds that spanned thousands of years and on different planets. And you get into this huge rabbit hole of creating, and you have to seriously sit down and like put stickies on the wall just to make sure everything connects right.
Yeah.
So it's insane the type of worlds that I like. I might not like uh, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, but I respect the hell out of them because of how much work each one of those writers had to do to create this universe in the first place.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of effort, and a lot of time, and you know, it doesn't matter how big their staff is, whether it was just them themselves, J.R.R. Tolkien himself, or whether he had a staff of writers. Uh, it doesn't matter. As much manpower in the world as there is, you won't ever be able to create a perfect universe. So there's always going to be people that can find those loopholes, and to me, it's just like it is what it is. What I just said, it was nitpicking. It really is
Yeah.
nitpicking. Like you're downplaying all this huge amount of work that this person did to point something like almost like silly out. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it the I can't think of the word, but it delegitimizes that person's work.
Yeah.
So I don't give much credence to those types of people. Um, it's when they do it to themselves, like when they sacrifice their creativity and the integrity of the show or the movie or the series or whatnot, um, and take shortcuts when they jump the shark and they want to like appeal to the lowest common denominator, and it shows in
Yeah.
the writing or the production or whatever. That's when
Yeah.
I start to question, what like their motives are, because usually you start with wanting to create art, something that people can appreciate, and then when people throw money at you, a whole nother added pressure is
Yeah.
put on, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta appeal to a lot more people, and when you appeal to the general masses, a lot of them don't understand or aren't educated in the way people create art. So you gotta be a lot more obvious, I guess.
Yeah.
And I understand that too, but it's when you like just go for the lowest common denominator. It's like, oh, come on, man! Like seriously?
Yeah. 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 No, I feel that. I feel that. You get some. That's when they get really trivial with like really breaking down like the really uh minor aspects of the film, and when they could be enjoying it. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, it's interesting. I always wanted to kind of pick people's brain. I pick my wife's brain a lot. Why she's into those fantasy movies, and it's always a discussion that I love to have, just because I don't get it. It's like I just interviewed Walton, who is from Australia. He's better
Oh,
known
nice.
as Chur Doi Drummer. Um,
Yes, yes, yeah. There's the guy. Yeah. I
he's
was like who's Walton for a second, and then once you mentioned the name, I was like, oh, that's the guy.
Yeah, man, that
Yeah.
guy's off the hook.
Oh,
He is hilarious.
killer channel.
I can't wait
Yeah.
for for people to watch our interview. He was he was a riot.
Yeah.
But what we talked about was I asked him why the drums, and he said it's just because I get it. I get it. I don't get certain things, and I don't get why people do certain things, but the drums I get, and you get it, and I get it, and he gets it, but a lot of people don't get it. Like they ask me
Yeah.
why the drums, and I try to explain to them, and they just don't get it. So,
Yeah.
for me, when I hear somebody likes fantasy movies, I'm interested because I don't get it, and I wanna try to understand it. So it's
Yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
love having
That's
those
cool. That's cool.
conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do some more, a couple more getting to know you questions, speed dating questions. It's not really speedy though. We've been kind of going at length, but it's
Slowy
cool.
dating.
Yeah.
Eh,
Okay. Have you traveled anywhere fun lately?
um, actually, let's see. Um, no, not recently, but I am about to go on vacation to Germany in a couple weeks. So
Awesome.
last week of August, yeah, we're just gonna be down there, trying the all the vegetarian bratwurst and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I heard it's a fantastic place. Yeah, so I'm really excited.
Cool.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're gonna have to let me know. I've never been. Have
yeah.
you been to Europe before?
No, actually never. Yeah, this will be my first time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Uh, okay. Well, that answers another question I had, which was if you're going anywhere fun in the near future. So that's fun. Any other places you got lined up?
Well, places I want to go to. Yeah, yeah, I have a lot. Um, Particularly New Zealand, particularly because it's mad beautiful down there, and that's also where they filmed the
Yes.
Lord of the Rings movies. And if you look, like they actually still have the little Hobbit village up, so for tourists to visit and stuff, and they have a gift shop and everything. So that's pretty cool. Ireland, that's also I've always loved Ireland. My dad's family is from there. But the culture is just like I love the culture, just like it's very laid back, um uh that's where they got a lot of their potatoes from there, um
Yeah.
but yeah, it's also mad beautiful down there. I saw a lot of videos. um where else? Iceland.
Okay.
Particular reason being is because I also saw this other movie. It's called Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Have you ever seen it
No,
with
I
Ben
haven't.
Stiller? Oh man, it's great. It just basically shows like him. It's kind of like he's a nervous guy, and um he's wanting to meet this lady in his job, and but he can't like really talk to her because he's nervous. But he has to go on this adventure to try and find this missing photo that he needs for the last magazine issue, because his job, like he works at a magazine company, and they're about to close. They're about to switch to like an online resource, so they're printing out the last of their magazines, and he's looking for that photo, and he travels to Iceland, and the scenery there is beautiful. Like I'm talking like mad beautiful. Um, there's this one scene where he like longboards down there too. Like he takes his longboard and then he ties these rocks to his hands, and then like he uses the rocks to steer on on the road, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, the interesting thing about Iceland is that they have a really low population.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something I've always been like interested in, and I've always wanted to check it out, just for like the scenery and and uh and the people there, and yeah.
You know what
And
they don't have?
what?
They don't have mosquitoes.
Yeah, yes.
I
Yeah,
learned that. Like that's the only place on Earth where there's no mosquitoes. It's
really.
crazy.
Wow. That is like I did not know that. Oh my God.
So
uh
I want to go to. I mean, I would actually live in Iceland because of that. I can't
word.
stand mosquitoes.
Word, man. There's so many mosquitoes out right now. Like I got like
Yeah.
8 bites this past week, like like all over my arm. Like, oh man, it's nuts. But but yeah, yeah, man. Iceland is amazing. That was where I found out Iceland from. Like I wasn't really interested in it before I saw the movie, but after I got hooked. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. Cool.
yeah.
Any other places?
Italy. I've always wanted to visit Italy, and where else? Um, I think that's it. I guess I've always been into the Rockin' 1000. You know that group. It's basically like where they get like 1,000 musicians, like drummers, bassists, guitarists, and singers, and then they all come to this one location in Europe. Rather being, I think this past year they were at Germany, but they usually gather around Italy sometimes and France too. Um, but yeah, every year during the summer they just gather together. They they all set out their instruments on a I think it's on a football field, and they just record like cover different covers of rock and roll songs. Like
Huh.
yeah,
Wow,
I
that's
think
crazy.
Hooper Drummer was actually a part of it this year.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and they did Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters. They did I think they did Killing in the Name of by Rage
Okay.
Against the Machine. Um, I'm not sure what else they did, but yeah. That's another reason why I want to go to Europe is for that and just like the experience and the locations there. It's amazing. Europe has a lot of really neat places.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I've only been to Lisbon and Paris,
Nice.
and both cities I'm in love with. It's amazing the history that Europe has that you I don't know, us in America, we don't really have that so much. More on the East Coast, especially on the West Coast, there's like hardly any history or culture.
Yeah.
So, for me, a guy who likes to soak that kind of shit up, it's been awesome moving to New York and being in Philly. There's a lot more history, but then when you go to Europe, it's a whole different ballpark, man. I mean, that's where like civilization really flourished.
Oh
So
yeah. 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 Especially like back in the Victorian times too, like the Europeans, like they were ahead of everyone else. Like that's where the big uh that's where the big trades and stuff took place, and all the royalty and everything. Like that's where it all happened. Um, yeah, it's amazing. Like I love it.
yeah, like you trace back the arts of the things that the things that we're into, like music and art and acting, and it's all right there in Europe. That's where it all started.
Yeah, the Renaissance. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
most yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy, man. I want to go back to Europe and travel to a lot more places. Also, I'd love to see Europe, Italy as well. Go to Rome and see what's going on down there. Go to
Nice,
Athens and check out all the
nice.
Greek ruins. Like
Hey.
crazy, crazy history going on there. I'd also love to go to um, Jerusalem and check that place out.
Nice.
That's like the center of the religious world. So
Yeah, yeah,
it'd be crazy to. I think they've got it down to where like Jesus was born. I'm not even really that big of a religious guy, but the significance, like it's not something that I take lightly. Like that's the spot where the most famous man on earth was born. You
yeah,
can't not be in awe.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's where
yeah, dude, traveling is has really opened my eyes, and I love talking about travel because I feel like more people need to travel. It should actually be a necessity that I think it's unfortunate that it costs so much because I feel like you get so much out of traveling, and so many people can't travel because of the cost. You know, not only does it cost so much, you have to take time away from work. So I get it, but man, the things you get out of travel, they're irreplaceable.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree.
Cool, man. Do you laugh at fart jokes?
Depends if they're good enough. Hey, you got one?
I don't. I'm horrible with jokes, man. I laugh at jokes all the time. I never retain them. So yeah, I don't have any that are off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I actually I like fart jokes. Like I like back when I was little, like I would always laugh at anything like poop or fart related, you know. And it's just funny, like the whole concept of just inserting it. I think like although like now like I've been more into like the dry type of humor, but
Mm.
I still love the fart humor, you know. It's like when you want to just like when you want to just get that dumb like humor and just like relax and take a break from all the busy day stuff, you know. It's great. It's great for that. Um but yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool. Let's see what else is going on here. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Hmm. Oh man, that's tough. Oh, I have to think about this one.
Okay,
Um.
okay. Think about it in the back of your mind. I got another one.
All right.
If you could invite anyone, dead or alive, to dinner, who would it be?
Oh man, why you gotta throw it on me? Oh my god, that's even harder than the last one. uh. Oh man. I have so many. Maybe all the uh well, for starters, maybe for an actress, I'll invite Daisy Ridley over to dinner because she's freaking she is so gorgeous and talented.
Okay.
um uh I would invite all the drummers to dinner also because like they're
Awesome.
major inspirations, you know.
Yeah.
Um uh hmm. Oh, oh, Stan Lee, man. Oh man.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always been like he's like one of the best people on earth, you know. Um I actually I actually met him at New York Comic Con back in 2009. Um uh and uh the funny story is like we were about to get tickets and we're about to buy tickets to go meet him and they ran out, they sold out, but then uh by the time that he was about to leave after all the people were done meeting him, we quickly went over and asked the security guard if if we could go in and just say hi to him for like 1 minute, and then he was like, yeah, sure, let me check real quick, and then he goes back, comes back out, he's like, come on in, guys, and then we actually got to take a picture with him, and and he was super cool. He was he was one of the nicest people on the planet, and rest in peace to Stan Lee. He created a whole universe, but
Yeah. Totally.
yeah, yeah, he's I would also invite him. And yeah, yeah, really. I would invite a lot of people to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know.
It
Um.
really is a hard one, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how I would answer that one either.
yeah. I feel you.
I'm glad I'm on this side and not your side.
I feel that. Yeah, yeah. Screw you, man. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um. Do you want me to go back to the previous question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So about
Yeah,
the
pet peeves.
pet peeves. I'd say I'd say my pet peeve. Okay, I actually have two. All right, so one of my pet peeves is our drivers like over here. Like, oh man, you'd encounter like drivers and pedestrians. Like you'd have pedestrians who are like on their phones, like they're like they're wearing earbuds, and then like while I'm driving, like they'll just be walking across while it's a green light for me, and then like I'd be honking. If I wasn't honking, I probably would have hit them, but yeah, like nobody pays attention anymore. No pedestrian. Like there are very few pedestrians nowadays, especially over here in this area that respect the driving laws, and it's just a lot of drivers are being a lot of drivers are negatively affected by it because you'd have a driver who's driving safely, and then this person darts out into the middle of the road right in front of him. He hits him, and guess what? He gets arrested. He has to go to jail for unintended murder or just whatchamacallit, uh yeah, like, or he just has to pay like a huge fine, and it really sucks for the driver, especially. And even some driver and a lot of drivers, they can be complete assholes. um that happens a lot, especially in Jersey. But yeah, that is definitely one of my pet peeves, and they really need to do something about that. Uh, Other pet peeve is just is customers, because not all customers. A lot of, like, there are quite a few customers who are like, really respectable and really nice, and especially the old people, because like they'd be like, oh, hey, how are you, like that, and they really know, like, how it is to work, at a restaurant or any other place, and they really, take their time to greet you. But however, the customers who are disrespectful, like, they are really my pet peeve.
I can
Because yeah, it's
imagine.
just,
Yeah.
it's disrespectful. They and especially like in the movie theater. I actually used to work at a movie theater. Before I worked over here, I was an usher, and every time we would clean the theaters, there would be people like kicking the seats. There would be people like, screaming during the movie, uh, crying. It would just be nuts, and and we'd have to like kick some people out because they'd be disrupting the movie, and it just, they're literally the worst. So we'd have to, um yeah, but but at the same time, it's fun kicking the worst customers out, because yeah, it's basically like, yeah, see you, won't be missing you, but 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 yeah, man. Aside from that, the nice customers, they're great. They greet you. They're respectful. Um, and yeah, that's really that's really it.
Cool. Awesome.
and
Great.
some
Great
people that you
answers.
and some people that you work with too, like during jobs, like some people like who can get a little bit um how should you say this, like, uh controlling, like if they're not your manager, especially, and they're like, they can
Yeah.
get control, like, even people that you meet, like, if like, even some friends, it could be a friend, it could be like a coworker, but like any really person who's like controlling, or like, who's like always in a bad mood all the time, and that's like another pet peeve. But yeah, that's really it.
Cool. Awesome. Let's see. I think I have one more question actually. And I like to ask this one because I get varied answers, and I I already know the answer because you kind of answered it, but I want a description for that answer. Are you an early riser or a night owl?
Hmm. Uh, uh Now I would say nowadays I'm definitely more of a night owl, but um, when I usually like waking up early for morning runs, even though my sleeping habit sucks. I still would try and like wake up early to get that morning sun, and I would try and go on a morning runs uh
Oh, nice.
whenever I can. But yeah, it's a great experience, because you get that nice morning breeze. The sun's just rising. You're meeting the day. No one's really outside yet, so you get that nice peace of mind. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, it's a great experience. Um, and yeah, yeah,
I love it. I get most of my alone time, my me time, in the early morning hours. And I've said this on a couple of other interviews that a lot of people, everybody loves to watch the sunset and talk about the sunset. Well, the sunrise is equally as impressive, but
yes,
nobody's up for that.
yeah,
And and that's a good thing for people like me who are more like the early risers, is you have that calm and serene. It's like the calm before the storm, and
yeah,
it really like gives you a certain balance, and almost like a mentality where, okay, I've had my hour of serene and calm. I've centered, I've
yeah.
balanced myself, my chi is in order or whatever it is, and now I can go and face the world.
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
makes it just a little less shitty.
Yeah, I feel it. But yeah, yeah, dude, that definitely. Oh man, waking up early, it always helps. Especially like giving you that extra energy boost, during the day, like when you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always loved it. I gotta get used to it more, Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard with like I can speak from experience. I have so basically what I do, I don't have a full-time job. I have a bunch of part-time jobs. And I've scheduled it because I have a kid now too. I've scheduled it so that nothing interferes with anything else. And I'm dealing with people all over the world. I have my partner in Lisbon. I have a bunch of artists in LA. I have I have guys in a guy in Australia. So really, I'm in all time zones. I have people in India as well, and I have to cater to them. It's easier for me to cater to their time zone than for them to cater to mine. So I'm up at all different times of the day, uh, and I can relate, man. Sometimes it's hard to get up early and get your time in. And when you have school and you have a fluctuating schedule, it's really hard to get up in the morning. It's a lot easier to be that night person. To get up, it can be a drag sometimes.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, this was awesome. I hope you had fun.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. I definitely had fun.
Cool,
Yes.
man. I hope one that all the drummers that are out there get a better sense of what an awesome guy you are and how
Thank you, man.
positive and happy you come off on your videos. It's not fake. It's the real thing, man.
Thank you,
Your
man.
smile is
Appreciate it.
infectious. Your
Thank you, man.
smile is genuine, and what people are seeing in your covers when they see this, they'll be like, yes, yes. There's affirmation that Joey is the really nice guy that he is on his videos. So I hope
Thank you, man.
that this interview translates to that, for one. Two, I hope anybody who's a producer or director or leader of a band sees the middle part of the questions and is open to hiring you, because you are definitely someone that if I was looking for any of those positions, I would definitely want to hire. And then finally, uh, the speed dating questions. I think you proved to everyone that you're a swell guy. You're super smart, and most of all, you're just happy and positive. So hopefully that leads to success in your life, man. I
Thank you,
really
man.
I think you deserve it, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, dude, thanks for coming on. As soon as this video is out, I'll let you know. But I want to thank you. I want to thank all the people that are watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, of course. Subscribe to Joey's channel, and click that bell. Make sure you get both of our videos in your feed, because really we're doing our best to give you guys like the best content that we can, and it's genuine, it's honest, and hopefully it'll brighten up your day. That's pretty much like what we're doing it for, right? Would you
Yes.
agree?
Of course. Of course.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone out there, subscribe to our channels, and yeah, keep on doing the great things that we're all doing. We're all supporting each other, and um, I'm so proud to be part of this YouTube community, band of drummers, drummer brothers and sisters. It's been life changing for me, and it's something that I look forward to every day. And I'm sure you would agree.
Yes. Yes.
Cool, man. Well, Joey, thanks a lot. Uh,
Thank you.
hopefully, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yes, of course. Hit me up.
Cool. Alrighty.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, pizza, Longhorns.
Yes. And then if you guys are in the area, stop by too, all right? Yeah. We'll probably get
Uh,
the whole we'll get the whole squad together.
that would be amazing. I think I even mentioned it in our little WhatsApp group that we should literally think about, because you're right next door to New York City, so you might as
Yeah.
well uh, meet at Longhorn Steakhouse, Bayonne,
Yeah.
and then we'll like go over to the city and catch some street drummers or something.
Hey man, yeah, of course, totally down. You got it. Let's do it. Let's
Awesome.
do it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can make it happen. But in the meantime, yeah, dude, thanks for coming on. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, take care. I'll see you soon.
You too. All right. Peace out, guys.